My mum looked at me across the dinner table, her fork hovering over her potatoes. "Sweetie," she said, her voice perfectly casual, "do you remember your funeral?" I almost choked on my water. My dad, my older brother Tom, they just kept eating, nodding along like she'd asked if I remembered our trip to the Grand Canyon. I forced a laugh. "What kind of joke is that, Mum?" "Very funny." She didn't smile. "It was a lovely service. Oak coffin, just like you always wanted. So many white lilies. Your father gave a beautiful eulogy." Dad cleared his throat, a sad look in his eyes. "Broke everyone's heart, kiddo, seeing you in there." Tom chimed in, swirling his pasta. "Yeah man. The whole town showed up. Mrs. Gable from down the street cried so hard she had to be helped out." Okay, this was getting weird. I looked around the table. Their faces were all so sincere, so filled with a quiet, settled grief. It wasn't a joke. They were dead serious. My heart started to beat a little faster. "Guys, stop it. This isn't funny. I'm right here. I'm obviously not dead." My mum reached across the table and patted my hand. Her skin was warm, real. "We know you're here now, honey. That's the miracle of it. But we lived through it. We buried you." My head was spinning. Was this some elaborate prank? A collective delusion? What are you talking about? How could I have died when 3 years ago today? My dad said softly, "The car accident. The car accident. I remember it. A rainy night, a slick road. I'd spun out, hit a tree. But I walked away. One had a few bruises, a concussion, but I was fine. I went to the hospital, got checked out, and came home the next day. I remember arguing with Tom about who got the last slice of pizza that night. No," I said, shaking my head. "No, I was in an accident, but I survived. I was just banged up. I remember it clearly." Tom sighed, putting his fork down. "That's not what happened, Anna. The paramedics said you were gone on impact. We identified you at the morgue. We planned the funeral. We watched them lower you into the ground." My breath hitched. Every detail they gave was so vivid. The dark green dress my mum wore, the playlist of my favorite songs that Tom had put together, the way my dad's voice cracked when he spoke. It was like they were describing a movie they'd all seen, a shared memory that was crystal clear to everyone but me. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. "I need some air." I felt dizzy, like the room was tilting. They were all looking at me with such pity, such concern. It was suffocating. "Anna, wait," my mum called after me. But I was already out the back door, gulping in the cool night air. My hands were shaking. This was insane. A mass hallucination. Was I going crazy? Or were they? I pulled out my phone, my fingers fumbling with the screen. I needed to call someone. My best friend, Sarah. She would tell me this was crazy. She'd been with me the week after the accident, watching movies and complaining about school. She'd remember. As my thumb hovered over her contact, a notification popped up on my screen. My blood ran cold. It was a calendar alert, an event I didn't remember setting. The words glowed in the dark. "Anniversary of death tonight." I stared at the phone, my own reflection, a pale, terrified face on the dark screen. The alert was from my own calendar, an event I had apparently created, but I had no memory of it. Just like I had no memory of my own funeral. My knees felt weak. I leaned against the house, sliding down the wall until I was sitting on the cold patio stones. What was real? The life I remembered living for the past 3 years, the dinners, the holidays, the boring Tuesday nights, or their memory, the oak coffin, the white lilies, the dirt being shoveled onto my grave. I scrolled through my photos, desperately searching for proof. There I was, Christmas 2 years ago, my birthday last year, a selfie with Sarah just last week, pictures, proof, I was alive. I had been alive, but then, a thought, cold and sharp as a shard of glass, pierced through my panic. Digital photos can be faked, memories can be implanted, but a shared, detailed grief from the 3 people who loved me most in the world, that felt heavier, that felt real. I thought back to the accident. The details were hazy around the impact. The rain, the headlights, a sickening crunch. Then what? My next clear memory was waking up in a hospital bed with a headache. The doctors said I was lucky, but what if that wasn't the whole story? What if the story I remembered was the lie, and the funeral was the truth? If I died, then who, or what am I? My phone buzzed again. A text from my mum. "Please come back inside. Honey, we love you. It doesn't matter. You're here now. You're here now." The words echoed in the silence of the backyard, but was this me, or just a memory of me that had somehow found its way back? I looked up at the kitchen window. I could see my family sitting there, watching me, their faces etched with worry and love. The family I knew, the family that remembered burying me. I took a deep breath. I didn't have any answers. All I had was a choice. Go back inside and live in their reality, or run and try to find a truth that might not even exist. I pushed myself up from the ground, my legs unsteady. I walked towards the glowing kitchen door, back towards the people who remembered my funeral better than I did. I had to know what happened that day. I had to know what happened to me. Even if the answer was something I couldn't possibly survive hearing a second time,